Greetings, this is Professor Fuller, and this is a reintroduction to Chapter 9, Preparing Business Reports. Businesses run on information, and reports are designed to share that information with people who need to make decisions and solve problems. The term report refers to a wide range of documents and functions. Reports can take a form of emails, memos, letters, manuscripts, slide decks, or interactive web pages. Report links can vary from a 2-page email message that documents your progress on a project to a several hundred-page in-depth analysis about a complex business problem. This chapter introduces you to a wide variety of report types and formats, along with some key writing techniques that will help you produce reports that are useful, clear, concise, readable, and accurate, no matter what the purpose, formal or informal report. The study questions were listed in the chapter for you, and I'll discuss each one in detail. 9.1. All business reports have one thing in common. They answer business questions. Your job in writing reports is to provide the information and analysis that answers those questions in a document that is easy for your audience to read and use. The ACE process, analyze, compose, evaluate, can help you create a report that meets this goal. This section outlines how to apply the ACE process when writing reports. Analyzing to understand the purpose and report type, to understand the audience's needs and to choose the best medium. Composing, compose your report to meet the audience's expectations using an objective and easy to read style. Then finally, evaluating. Evaluate by reviewing on your own and getting feedback from others. Typically, a report is either informational or analytical depending on its purpose and the key question it answers. The first step in writing a report is to identify the question you are answering and the type of report you're writing. The figure that you see above lists common business questions and the types of reports that answer them. When the process of researching reports is long and involved, you may be tempted to include everything you find. This approach will lead to a report that is overly long and unfocused. To focus a report, analyze your audience to determine what information they really need to make the business decision. The figure 9.2 in the textbook lists questions that you might ask. A report may take a form of an email, memo, formal manuscript, an online report, or report deck, a report document written in PowerPoint or other presentation software. When choosing the best medium for your report, consider the link, the audience, and formality and the way you want to deliver the report and how others will use it. When audiences read the report, they expect to find 3 or 4 kinds of information: identifying information, preview, detailed discussion, and optionally, additional documentation. Figure 9.4 summarizes where these elements appear in the various reports format. It also explains how to handle page numbering in formal manuscript reports. As you read through this chapter, notice how the example reports and the figures follow each of these guidelines. The writing style of report lends credibility to your results, which is important because reports are often used to support problem solving and decision making. To adopt a good report writing style, follow this advice. Avoid narrative. Don't waste a reader's time providing detailed account of what you did. Instead, focus on the findings, conclusions, and recommendations that result from your work. Even in a progress report, focus on accomplishments rather than activities. Be objective. For every claim you make, provide reasoning and support evidence. Also, be fair. Show that you have examined all sides of an issue and that you have evaluated the issue using reasonable and objective criteria. Use the appropriate tone. Although some informal internal reports may use informal language, including contractions such as isn't, won't, will, reports for external audience are typically formal. Use a straightforward sentence style. All reports benefit from a writing style that uses concise sentences and active voice. This style makes a report easier to read and easy to translate for international audiences. Evaluating involves both reviewing your own work and also responding to feedback from others. As you evaluate your report, ask yourself the evaluating questions on this slide to improve the document. When a report is particularly important, be sure to have multiple people read it and provide feedback before you finalize the content. In fact, ask for feedback continually throughout the writing process, instead of waiting until a draft is complete. In that way, writers improve the effectiveness of important reports by ensuring that the report meets the audience's and the stakeholders' needs. Professionals in the field of international technical communication have developed a number of guidelines to use when preparing English documents for readers who are not native English speakers. Even if your communication is not technical, use the following guidelines to adapt from the global English style. Use simple English, do not vary terms needlessly, and eliminate any fact from the content. Most day-to-day business reports are short, less than 5 pages, and written in email, memo, or letter format. This section provides guidelines for 3 types of informal reports that are used. This section has progress reports, trip reports, and meeting minutes. These reports are designed to inform your audience quickly about the work you've done and provide documentation for future use. This section also provides guidelines for a short analytical report, in this case, a feasibility report. If you are working on a long-term project, your supervisor may ask you for a progress report that updates your status and indicates any potential problems or issues. Figure 9.5 illustrates a progress report written by a team of designers who work for Adaptive Living. This team is designing a swimsuit for women with conditions such as rheumatic arthritis that severely limit their range of motion. The team has been working on a project for several months and needs to answer 2 questions. How is the project progressing, and what will be tested prototype be complete? The figure's annotation provides advice about how to write a report in memo form and organize a progress report. Minutes are written reports of meetings. This type of minutes you write will depend on the type of meeting that you're summarizing and the purpose of the minutes. If you are documenting a formal meeting, then the minutes will summarize the discussions, organize the minutes into categories outlined in the meeting's agenda, such as new business announcements, reports, votes, and decisions. People unable to attend the meeting can refer to the minutes to learn what happened. More often, your minutes will record the more informal meetings of small committees or work teams. Those minutes are action-oriented. Figure 9.6 illustrates the minutes from a short teleconference of the Western Association of Accounting Professionals Communication Committee. When you return from a business trip, your manager might ask you to write a trip report, to document your activities and to share what you accomplished or learned. The biggest mistake writers make in preparing trip reports is to organize them chronologically in narrative style. Instead, identify the most useful way to categorize the information from the audience's perspective. For example, by the results you achieved, what you learned, or customers you visited. Figure 9.7. Warren Abbott reports on his trip to Washington, D.C. to meet with the current and potential clients. The figure's annotations provide advice about how to write a report in email form and how to organize this trip report. Short analytical reports, such as feasibility reports, can also be written in email, memo, or letter format. A feasibility report analyzes whether a plan can be implemented or proposed. It may also consider how to change the plan to make it feasible. A feasibility report will always include the criteria that decision makers can use to judge the proposal. The criteria may include cost, technical functionality, or potential for employees or the public to accept the proposal. Then the report will evaluate the proposal based upon the criteria.